Hello everyone and welcome back to Don't Be Bored. A few months ago on Tabletop Tea Time, the monthly series where I invite creators on, I interviewed Jordan of Jordan Plays Blue. You'll also have recognised him potentially from being on the Dice Tower sort of sporadically as well. Well, I interviewed him and let's jump straight into that with saying, Jordan, please introduce yourself and your channel.
Hey, I'm Jordan. My channels are Jordan Plays Blue. I do content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram primarily. Honestly, Instagram is pretty much daily. TikTok is weekly, multiple times a week, and YouTube is usually monthly. So that's kind of the order in which I usually post things. Yeah, I mostly focus on kind of shorter kind of games. I got some like stacks of games here. They're usually smaller box kind of card games, dice games, family style games. I really do enjoy kind of deeper strategy games. I just don't always have time for those types of games. So I usually just cover games that I have the most time to play.
Time is always the enemy when it comes to gaming. So what would you say is your favourite game and your favourite mechanism?
My favorite game, I do keep like a running like best games of all time list. I've been doing it for almost 10 years, I think, at this point. And currently, and I've had a lot of number one games over time, but over the last couple of years, my favorite game has been Space Base, and that is a game by AEG. It's a pretty popular game, but if you haven't played it before, it's a tableau building game where you're putting these ships out, and it has like a Catan dice rolling mechanism where you roll your dice and everybody gets stuff on other people's turns, and you're going to be activating these different ports in your space base and collecting income and money and points ultimately, and trying to get points before the end of the game. It's just so satisfying, especially since so little of the game is actually happening on your turn. Most of the game is actually happening on other people's turns, and I just think that's such a cool way to design a game. So I love Space Base. I am constantly playing it on Board Game Arena, and I always love to be able to play it in person as well. My favorite kind of my favorite mechanism, I suppose, would be engine building. Space Base is an engine building game. Other ones, even like a worker placement game like Agricola, for instance, has like some engine building elements where you're trying to like, as you're producing food, or more traditional engine building games, maybe like Gizmos, where you're just kind of like chaining actions because you can, do this and then gives you this and then gives you this. And I find that really satisfying. I've also been smitten with trick-taking games recently, so that's definitely up there as well.
I've always enjoyed Space Base as well, and that you hit the nail on the head. That part where you're getting something on other people's turns just feels really good. Now for a really hard question, what game has the best meeple in it?
That's a great question. I love games that have little wooden pieces. I have some behind me, like Llama Land has really cute llamas. Habitats behind me has those really fun Jeeps. But when I think of meeples, probably the one, oh, I see New York Zoo also. That has a lot of fun animals in it. When I think of like meeples, I think like traditional kind of people. This game I'm pulling off my shelf here. This is an older game, Vikings by Michael Kiesling. I think this is a really fun game. It hasn't been reprinted in forever. Maybe someday it will. But this one has really fun. It's a Viking game. It's not super thematic, but it has these little Viking meeples, and they just have fun. I don't know, horns on them. I just think they're fun meeples. That's often the one that I think about when I'm thinking of a good meeple. Is this weird old game called Vikings from Hans im Gluck, and you should check it out if you ever get a chance, because I really enjoy it. But it's been out of print for a long time.
That's a pretty cool looking meeple, and it's from a game I've not played, so thank you for hopefully a great recommendation. Now, what game did you play last?
Last game I played is probably Fairy. This is a little tiny game from Allplay. My kids have been playing this a lot with us. It is a guessing game. You literally flip a card over and everyone's going to rock, paper, scissors. Whether you think that card's going to be, the next card's going to be higher, lower than the previous card, or the same color, or might have a fairy on it. And It's super quick. It's kind of a dumb game, but it's a lot of fun. We've been loving this one a lot. So Fairy, that was the last game I played, and it was a good one, which is fun.
Small box games are always great and portable too, which is really helpful. Outside of board games though, what other hobbies do you have?
Hobbies I have outside of board games. I used to disc golf a lot. I haven't done that in a long time. I did get to go disc golfing a couple weeks ago, which I thought was great because I haven't been able to do that in a long time. So maybe I'll start disc golfing again. Maybe I won't. I don't know if I have a lot of time for that. But my biggest hobby, I started this during COVID, and this is nerdier than board games, straight up. I do online competitive draft leagues for Pokemon. So if you play Pokemon like on the Switch or DS or whatever, there's like, you battle through the gyms and things like that, and you do battling. Well, there's websites that you can go and you put in the stats and you put in the items and abilities and all this stuff. Pokemon is an extremely kind of strategic style of video game. And I do draft leagues, so it's similar to fantasy football. You draft a team of Pokemon, and then over a course of a number of weeks, you battle other coaches. We organize everything on Discord and have a lot of spreadsheets, and I'm in multiple leagues. And I'm not particularly awesome at it, but I have been doing this since 2020 pretty steadily. I'm in multiple leagues at a time, and it's a lot of fun, and I do it a ton. And honestly, there's some weeks where I probably do that more than board gaming. But yeah, there you go. Competitive Pokemon battling draft leagues.
I haven't disc golfed in a while. I can certainly recommend it. And a thing that involves Pokemon and spreadsheets, well, that does sound pretty awesome as well. Doesn't matter how nerdy it is. But what can people expect to see on your channel within the next few weeks?
On my channel, I mean, coming up, I do the same kind of stuff. On Instagram, I do reviews, I do other content, I do reels and TikToks periodically on just showcasing different games. YouTube, I do a monthly roundup where I usually talk about 4 games. This month's roundup is all party games, so I have a stack of party games over here that I've talked about, and then I have another stack of games I'm going to talk about next month, so then I'll be filming those. So yeah, just check out my stuff, give me a follow. I'm really close to 1,000 followers on TikTok, which is kind of cool. So if you want to give me a follow over there, Jordan Plays Blue, I would really appreciate that, because that is something that I think would be really great to get to 1,000 over there. But I think that's it. Thanks, Oliver. I'll see you guys.
A huge thank you to Jordan for coming on and answering the questions. Like I said, this interview was actually originally aired as part of Tabletop Tea Time. So go and check that sort of series out where I speak to loads of creators. And also, while you're at things, Jordan's links to his channels will be in the description box downstairs, so please do go and sort of check him out and help him to hit those next milestones. And until next time, have a brilliant day gaming.